Hello, everybody. Very nice to be here. Glad to have the opportunity to talk to all of you. Hopefully, I'm gonna share with you some of my thoughts about how to build impact-driven, tech-based, and social-based startups. No? The company that I found back there in 2010 is called Hack Ventures, and we've been learning how to do so over the last 10 years. And it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Rodrigo de Alvarenga, and I am the founder and CEO of Hack Group. Just to give you a little glimpse of what I've been doing over my entire professional life, I spent 20 years working in the financial markets, plus 9 years as an angel investor, as well as an international mentor, and also founded Hack Group and Hack Ventures back there in 2010. I love learning, not necessarily studying, but love learning. I spent a lot of years of my career trying to perfect and studying different matters related to business, including my PhD degree that I'm taking right now, and focusing on how to venture build new companies. As I said, 21 years working in the financial market through different multinational banks in all sorts of different strategic roles, internationally as well as locally, and focusing on either global clients or corporate clients. I've been acting as a board member as well, and this experience has helped me to move forward in terms of investing in different companies over time. And here are some of the startups that we have invested in different industries: education, energy, sharing economy, health, fintechs, etc. These are some of our startups. One of them, we just had an exit kind of a month ago. And my personal passion is about venture building people, which is my impact-driven secret project. I've been trying to change people's lives, entrepreneurs, mainly students, university students, as well as professionals in companies that we do consulting services. But this is my passion, and I've spent almost all my career trying to somehow, support people to change. Chief mentor and or mentor in different programs all over the world: Europe, Latam, Middle East, US, Silicon Valley, as well as a speaker in events all over the world as well. And a jury member in different either programs, awards, or accelerators. Having said that, let's talk about purpose-driven startups and businesses. First of all, one of the things that we do at my company is basically to support entrepreneurs, either tech-based or social-based, in moving forward with their passion and trying to impact the world. So the way we've learned that works is basically by embracing not just the, let's say, the regular for-profit approach, but also considering the fact that any business will for sure impact the surroundings, people around you, your employees, your customers, as well as others that might be, for some reason, a stakeholder when talking about your company. So we have learned that supporting not just startup tech-based startups, but also impact-driven startups. We would be, as a venture builder, we would be moving even further in terms of creating a trend that is very much needed in our world right now. So tech-based business, right? Few of the business models that are growing a lot over time, we could summarize into three, basically. Either infrastructure as a service, or platform as a service, or software as a service. Even though we do have plenty of other options in terms of business models, they are either a combination of one of these three or some sort of a derive from one of these three. And these are the ones that are growing a lot, have been growing over the past years, and are taking over the market in terms of the relevance and importance in our days right now. A very interesting example, pizza as a service, right? So back there, we used to do everything ourselves. So we manage the dining table, the drinking, gas, oven, fire, pizza, tomato, whatever, toppings, cheese, whatever. So traditional approach, on premise, everything made at home, right? Then this is just to help you to understand how business models are moving the market to a different, completely different direction, using a day-by-day example. So when we think about infrastructure as a service, then instead of doing everything, we're going to share with vendors. They're going to be delivering us something that will take care of at least part of the tasks that we have ahead of us. In this particular case, you're gonna buy a ready to oven pizza, and it's going to just prepare at home just using your oven, right? Then a platform as a service. Basically, everything delivered to you. You don't need even to go there and buy it. You buy from home, it's delivered to you, and you just need to have something to drink and a table, right? And finally, software as a service, which is basically an approach that will solve everything for you. In this particular case, you go dine out, because then the restaurant will take care of everything, right? So this very basic example helps us to understand how the different business models, at least talking about these three, affect our day-by-day lives, right? From doing yourself to dining out, which is a software as a service, equivalently to technology approach at companies. We have in between either infrastructure or a platform. And this is important just to understand that whenever you are doing infrastructure as a service, basically you are hosting something, right? When you're doing a platform as a service, then you're building something, but you're not taking this to the last mile and delivering to the customer the entire service already done. And if you're doing a SaaS model, then it means you're consuming something that is ready. So there are several examples. Some of the most famous are as infrastructure, Amazon, Microsoft Azure, and there are plenty of others. Platform as a service, Red Hat, and plenty of others. And software as a service, Google Drive, Office, etc., etc., etc. Right? So these approaches, they're not considering anything other than solving something to a customer and delivering some sort of a value, and this value is captured by the provider, right? Whenever we talk about social impact business, then we need to understand our impact. This is even further of building a regular startup, is when you're starting to consider not just the fact that you are solving a problem in between a consumer and a need or an interest or a necessity, but you're also considering everything else that is happening um, on the surroundings of such transactions, right? And for that, you need to understand impact. You need to plan, measure, and analyze. You need to communicate such impact. And this will take your startup to a completely different place. Very interesting place to be right now. Over the past years, the amount of money that is invested on impact-driven businesses is growing, basically skyrocketing in two-digit numbers per year, every year at least, right? The infrastructure is different from what we are accustomed when we deal with startups. Instead of talking just about lean startup, instead of talking just about entrepreneurs manual, or instead of just talking about um, the regular stuff, we need to talk about the very basics in terms of the methodology used to understand impact, the theory of change. You need to define objectives. Need to have very clear objectives in terms of what is the impact that you're trying to create, because when you move towards impact, that means instead of just being a passenger in terms of whatever other effects your company creates on the surroundings, you start to manage this as well. So you need to do this consciously. So you need to manage, you need to understand, you need to take care, you need to consider all this, right? Then there are different methodologies to evaluate your impact, as well as to make sure you can communicate properly. You're going to need a definition of a measurement plan. Then you need to do it, measure and analyze, monitor and disclosure, right? These are tasks that are very important, and only impact-driven companies will somehow address these six topics. Impact measurement. Is this the formula, right? Something really awkward that is completely strange to us and very difficult to understand, and even to begin to imagine how to calculate? No, that's not the formula. One of my favorite approaches is called SROI, social return on investment. And by the way, this is one of the in one side, one of the most complex approaches to monitor, measure, and communicate impacts. But on the other hand, that makes sure you're really managing and creating impacts and changing whatever you want to change in the world. So, just a quick overview what the theory of change is all about. Basically, it's like a step-by-step framework to help you understand how to get to impact, right? So 5 specific columns: inputs, everything you need to perform your activities. Activities are basically the activities that you do. For example, if you sell a software as a service, all the activities that you need doing to make sure your software is ready to be bought is basically what you are doing, right? In the case of impact, it's pretty much the same. This is the products or services that you're delivering. Output is basically the immediate result derived from the interaction of your products, your services, with your beneficiary, your user, your customer. So what happened then? when they use for the first time or in the very beginning, what happened, right? After a while, then we have outcomes. That means the usage of your service, product, or whatever you're providing over time is generating effects or changes, is adding value, perhaps gains, either financial or economical gains, social gains. For example, when we are talking about education, which is very much, you know, a product that is aimed to create impact. That means imagine yourself after graduating. So you spent 4 years consuming the activities. The immediate result is your diploma. After a while, the effects would be where are you professionally speaking? Have you managed to have an interesting job? Are you growing? Do you have the right soft skills to keep learning and keep moving forward in your career? This would be here. And last but not least, impact, which is basically the change that you are looking for. So impact-driven business is about changing something. And it's not about offering a different solution, but it's offering a different future, a different reality. That's why it's more complex. Coming back to SROI, social return on investment. So this is basically when you can value all the benefits that you are creating in terms of the impacts that you're creating over time, divided by the investments you made to deliver such impacts. And this will give you a measure, like an index of how efficient you are in terms of changing the world or changing whatever you're aiming to change. So it's not about the idea, it's about the problem. This applies to tech-based startups as well as impact-driven startups. It's never about the idea. The idea is basically how to solve it. As you probably know, the golden circle, it's about the why, and the why is the problem. It's not about technology nor the user, it's about people, because they are the ones that will be either impacted or influenced or will have their lives changed or will be using your product, and thus it's going to help them somehow. It's about them. It's not technology nor this strange guy we call user. And because we are talking about impact, it's not about profits only. It's about prosperity. The difference is being basically, instead of just creating results for me, I'm creating results for the environment. And I mean, not necessarily in terms of sustainability, but also social and economic, and also the environment. So this is about creating a better environment to live in which you're sharing, not because you're donating necessarily just or you're giving away money, but because whatever you do positively affects the lives of other people, thus helps them also to have a better life. Finally, how to create impact? Basically, or impact-driven startups, basically from people to people, from us to everybody. This is basically what we have in mind whenever we are working with startups, tech-based or social-based or social businesses. And mainly when we are working with social businesses, we try to foster them and to foster their dreams, to create a place in which everything we do, it's going to be from people to people and from us to everybody. Well, it's been a pleasure to share this with you. I hope we have some time to answer a few questions, if I may. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. In case you want to connect, feel free to send me an email or to check us on the social media.